Hey guys, it's RV Calvary again. I'm Lauren. This is Bob. Hi.
Hey, I'm Bob. Boy, we screwed that up. All right, we're doing a review of Sherwood Forest RV Resort in Orlando, Florida. It's an Encore facility. We're Thousand Trails membership, so we have the Encore, we have the upgrade, so we have the Encore resorts on with our package, basically. We haven't been impressed with the Encores thus far, if you looked at some of our reviews of campgrounds, Sherwood Forest has got some great reviews, and I think our review's not going to be that. Our experience with Sherwood Forest is not good. Will we go back? No. If you're looking for a place just to stay because you want to go to the theme parks, then this is a great place to just stay. You know, if you're just looking for an overnight place to park your rig so that you can go to the theme parks and do Orlando, you know, one of the top tourist destination spots in the world, then that's fine. If you're looking for the actual facility and things to do at the facility, I think there's some better options in Orlando. You know, now, is it convenient? Yeah. I mean, the place has got great convenience. There's a camping world less than a few minutes away. What,
yeah,
15 minutes?
Not even that. I think it's less than 3 miles away.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take you 15 minutes because we're Orlando and it's Orlando traffic, so you're not getting anywhere quick. But it is relatively close. It's right outside, a block away. But
right outside the actual Sherwood Forest, you have an Aldi supermarket, and then my favorite, Krispy Kreme.
Which is a donut place. If you don't have them up there, it's best donuts in the world.
Hot glazed.
This big thing you can see, that's too many donuts. But anyway, as far as Sherwood Forest is concerned, the convenience of shopping and all that stuff around there is great. It's Orlando. Everything is close by. As far as the facility itself, we'll go into that. Checking in, well, they screwed up our sites. We made our reservations. We were given one site number, and then we drove around this place, and once we got there, we checked in and all this. They gave us another package, and then lo and behold, our site number changed. So, and I was driving around looking for one spot. She was driving behind me looking for another because she had the package that we checked in.
I had the original package or email that was sent to me, so I'm going off of that, and I'm telling him you're going the wrong way, and he's like, no, I'm not. I'm looking at the map.
So this is going on the phone, and you know, we're married, so
it was super fun.
Yeah, that was great. So yeah, and being married, you know the drill, man. I mean, it's just one of those things. We're like, what are you talking about? You know. So anyway, make a long story short, somehow that got changed. We don't know how. No big deal, okay? So we finally found our site. The sites at Sherwood Forest are ridiculously small, okay? Our rig is about 35 feet. They do have some bigger sites that you pay more for.
We barely fit.
We barely fit. And to fit our rig on the site and basically to pull our truck in, we had to go long ways across, and our truck barely fit in that spot. So and they're not very wide either. So that was the first thing. The way the water and the connections are set up, and there was a lot of them that were broken. It's very, very easy for someone to run these over. They don't have the poles like you have in a lot of the different areas outside the electrical pole.
It's just this thing sticking up out of the ground.
It's just this thing sticking out of the ground. And we actually watched somebody, well, we didn't actually see it. We saw it the next day where the water's shooting out of the ground because, you know, you're pulling your rig out. There's no way to see it. It's a little teeny weeny thing about this big of PVC sticking out of the ground. And, you know, and it's in a different location than your electrical outlet. So normally all those utilities are right there together. So the plumbing is just a hodgepodge mess. And as far as the facilities are concerned, it's not kept up. All right. Now, this is Florida. Sites are a premium. It's about $110 to $120 a night for camping, which is ridiculous. If we didn't get it with our package, there is no way I'm paying that for a campsite unless the place is Fort Wilderness or what's that other place, River Ridge, or some of these more that you're going to actually get something. For this place here, I wouldn't pay more than $40 a night. It really wasn't worth that. It does have a pool, it has shuffleboard, it has all these different amenities. The Wi-Fi is just like every campground. It's awful. So if that's what you're looking for, no, you need to have your own Wi-Fi, because I'm going to be real honest with you, I haven't found a campground yet, nor do I think they exist that actually has good Wi-Fi. So we don't really care, but if you're working and you're a full-timer, that stuff's important. But typically you're going to have your own internet anyway. We pulled into the site, we got in, got connected, everything was fine there. Had to play with the breakers a little bit because they're old and corroded. Connections weren't very good. And then fire ants everywhere. If you're not familiar with fire ants, you don't want to know. They are a very, very nasty critter, and they get all over you before you know it. There's no pesticide or anything being put down on this property.
No, they were even bothering the dog when he would be out there laying. Like you could tell he would get up and I would look, and he would have a few on him, and he would get up and go to a different spot. They were literally even over our mat. Like we put a mat down, it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. So that was bad. So it was. If the place was kept up, it could be awesome.
The breeze. There is a breeze.
Yeah.
That was super nice. Like this is a place that we went to and did nothing. We had no plans of going to a theme park, not doing anything. So to sit there and relax and just have the breeze, that's about the best thing.
Yeah, that was about the best thing. And the fact that it was convenient. I mean, it's convenient to, you're right there by Old Town. You're real close to all the theme parks as far as... You
and Madison went one night, didn't you?
Yeah, we went down to Old Town for a little bit. She wanted to go, so we went down there. And there's just a lot, you're right there on Elo Bronson. So, I mean, there's a ton of things to do as far as that's concerned. But that was our first experience as far as the site itself. Right next door to our site was probably, there's a lot of full-timers here, and I don't have a problem with full-timers. I do have a problem when full-time RVing is great, but when you have
grass growing over your hose coming out of your rig,
flat tires, and tires buried in the soil because it hasn't been moved in a long time, on a 1970 early model single wide RV with window units hanging out, about to fall out, and that are all boarded up and braced with 2x4s and stuff like that. This thing had been there for a very long time. The water hose, like she said, and the sewer hose were completely sunken in the ground and overgrown with grass. It was bad. The guy behind us had a full-time place as well.
Older model thing too,
but it was kept up.
up.
Yeah, it was very kept up, and he was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? If you got something like that, keep up with it. There was more sites that we found that were dilapidated RVs that were just not taken care of, just falling apart. It looked bad. The neighborhood behind that area, and Orlando's kind of like that, the neighborhood behind there was very sketchy. Very sketchy. So people had complained. I saw in some of the reviews of theft.
And to even get to the neighborhood, you have to go through the gate.
Through the campground.
Through the campground. It's separate. So like you go through the gate and you go a little bit, and then off to the left is a campground. But if you keep going straight on back, that's where you get to this neighborhood that he's talking about.
that was pretty sketchy back in there too. So and a lot of people had complained about theft at the park. I did talk to the guy behind us and asked him about it, because realistically, it's not something you typically see in a campground. Campers don't steal. I've left expensive stuff out before. I've never had anything stolen at a campground. Knock on wood. But
some hardwood.
So you'd know. But I don't.
You're gonna have to edit that out.
Anyway, dirty mind.
You said it.
I didn't mean that.
Okay.
You went there. So, anyway, to make a, but there was some reports. I had talked to the guy behind it, because I asked him, and he said, "Oh yeah, you got to be careful. We've experienced that." So that was something that's, something you got to pay attention to, and something that's not very common in a campground resort, especially one that you're paying that kind of money for. And that was unusual, very unusual for camping. I've never really seen, or I didn't really witness it, but have heard of that happening in a campground. Most campers are all watching out for each other and stuff like that wherever you go, and this place definitely was not on that scale by no means. But there were some really bad campers in there, and there's a lot of people that full-time. We have some friends of ours that full-time, but the thing is, they keep up with their rig. They're and it doesn't, it doesn't matter how much money you have to be clean. Okay, I'm one to talk, I don't shave, but anyway, but I do bathe. Okay, but to keep your rig up and to keep it looking good, and to keep it in operational order, that doesn't take a lot of money. Maintenance on these things really is not that expensive. Washing it doesn't cost you anything. A little bit of Dawn dish soap. Keeping up with your rig is something that is important, and so it was. That is always a deterrent. The breeze there, though, was good. I can say that. The hospitality at the place was great. The people there that worked there, even though it was during COVID, so we didn't have a lot of interaction with them, but they were very pleasant on the phone. They were, so there was no issues there. The biggest problem that we had was upkeep of the facilities. Tight spots, I'll get around it, okay? But they're making a lot of money off this park. I mean, it's in a
for it to be in the condition that it's in.
To be in the condition that it's in, and to be sold out on a regular basis. There's absolutely no reason for this thing to be in the condition it's in. That place should be prestige. The other thing is like a lot of sites, you're camping on grass for the most part. There's a few of them that have concrete pads and all those, but not too much. Whether you have a picnic table or not, who knows?
We didn't have one.
We didn't have one, and some of them had them, some of them didn't. There's not a lot of shade at this place either, so you're camping out in the
parking lot.
Yeah, it's basically an open field, and you're camping in it. So can't complain too much because it was free, but it's kind of we've experienced a lot of this with a lot of the Encore resorts. We're not sponsored by them in any capacity. They'd drop us in a harbor. Yeah. But the Thousand Trails, the actual Thousand Trails campgrounds have been much better and much cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So, but overall, they Sherwood Forest has your putt and all your stuff. I don't think anybody used their putt golf in a long time. Because not only do you have the man-made obstacles in putt-putt golf, they had a lot more obstacles as far as debris and leaves and stuff that had accumulated that really they hadn't removed. So, but overall, I guess when you say, if you take all those things in, if you're looking for a place just for the weekend, as a weekend, and you're looking to see the parks, it's probably great for that. Is it worth $100 and something a night? No way. There's it's going to be hard pressed though to find anything in Orlando for cheap. Yeah, so because especially during season, that's going to be difficult anyway. But overall, how are the facilities? Because I don't use the facilities.
Well, I don't either. And again, we take my grandmother to go do her business. They were decent.
Not bad.
No, I mean they've tried to do some upgrades to the bathrooms. Like they had, I think, some granite countertops and stuff like that. It still needed a little bit of work, but for the most part, it was clean.
That's all you can ask for. So facilities were decent then. Our biggest thing was there was a lot of people there that were definitely full time with dilapidated vehicles.
It's just not upkept.
No, it's just not upkept. People were nice. Don't get me wrong. There was nothing wrong with them, but it was not well kept at all. There's
it's
just a lot of.
It's probably one of the places that I'm glad there were like empty lots like right behind us that I could walk the dog. It's not something that I would feel comfortable going too far off to walk him by myself, especially at night.
Yeah. So if that gives you any indication, but again, it's one of those things. Is would we go back? Probably not. There's just too many other places in Orlando that we like better that we would go to, but it was available and we thought we'd try it out. So. But that's all I've got on that. You got anything on Sherwood?
No,
outside
that's
of she liked it because there was an Aldi within walking distance, basically.
And Krispy Kreme. How can you go
Krispy
wrong?
Kreme, yeah. But outside of those two items and the breeze, I mean, that was about it.
Yeah,
so
that's about
I mean,
it.
we had a good time. Don't get me wrong, but they're really, not the kind of place I would like to stay. Unless it was the last resort.
No, I'd rather go to Lazy Days or something like that instead of paying that money to go.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're in Orlando,
Yeah.
the Orlando, Claremont, hell, spend the money for Fort Wilderness. There's a lot of other areas.
Fort Wilderness is kind of crazy expensive. But
Yeah.
But that's all we have for that, guys. See you later. Bye.
All right, you're done. All right, bye-bye. All right.
You're such an asshole. You're still taping.
Oh, shit.